In this video, we'll see how to find the sum of the digits of a given number. So sum of the digits in the sense, the given number is 548. We are taking each digit from that number and we are adding all the digits and displaying the sum. So that is what basically we are going to do. The problem is that we have to separate and take the digits from the number and we have to add it. So that is the main thing we'll be doing it here. So this is the program which we are doing in C. First we are getting the number using printf and scanf, and we are storing that given number in a temporary variable for future use, because we need to print here the number we need to print, so we are storing it in a temporary variable. And this while condition is the actual program. In this while condition, what we're doing is that, so let's take n is equal to 123, that is 123. If n is equal to 123, so this will be the first iteration when n is equal to 123 and 123 is greater than 0. This while condition is true, 123 is greater than 0. So in first iteration, in the remainder variable, we'll be finding the remainder of this number which is divided by 10. So basically dividing it by 10 will give the last digit of the number. So if you're dividing 123 mod 10 means basically 123 divided by 10, we get the last digit of this number. So 3 will be stored in the remainder. We got one digit. So we cannot access the digit from first to the last. We'll be accessing it from last to the first, and then we will be adding it to the sum variable. So sum will be equal to, already sum is equal to 0. So 0 plus this digit which is equal to 3. So now sum will be equal to 3, and n is equal to n by 10 means 123 divided by 10 which is equal to 12. That is, we are not taking the decimal part, we will be rounding off and taking the integral part alone. That means we are removing this particular digit, last digit we have taken. Now we don't need it anymore. Next time when we have to take the second digit, that is the number 2, when we have to take it separately from the number, this will be a problem. So we have to remove this first and then we'll be going to the next digit. So for that purpose, in this iteration itself, we'll be removing the last digit. Now the n value will be equal to 12. Again we'll be checking in while loop. This will be the second iteration. N is equal to 12. 12 is greater than 0, that is true. So now remainder is equal to 12 mod 10, which will be equal to, we are finding the last digit alone. 12 divided by 10 will give the last digit, so it is 2. Adding it with the sum, the before sum is 3, adding it with the, we'll get 3 plus 2 is 5. Then we are doing n is equal to n by 10. That means 12 divided by 10 will give you the remaining digit alone. So that will be equal to 1. Now here comes the third iteration. So here n will be equal to 1 and 1 is greater than 0. So remainder will be equal to 1 mod 10. That is 1 divided by 10 is 1, because we are going to get that number itself. Only one digit is there, so that particular digit itself will get. Remainder is 1. Adding it with the sum value, that is 5 plus 1 is equal to 6. And when we are dividing it by 10 again, 1 divided by 10 is equal to 0. Integral part will be 0. So we are taking only that. And now n value is equal to 0. Next, in the fourth iteration, when we check n, when n is equal to 0, 0 is greater than 0. This is false. So the while loop exits, and then we are printing the sum value. So sum of the digits of percentage d is percentage d. That means in first percentage d, we are printing the temporary variable. In temporary variable, we have the original n value. So now if we check after all these iterations, after all these while loop conditions, n value is equal to 0. So this is the reason we have stored it in a temporary variable. So that we are printing it here. That value is equal to, sum of that value is equal to the sum which we have found here. So 3 plus 2 plus 1 is 6. So obviously we got it in this way. So for bigger numbers and for difficult calculations, we can use such methods. Now let's run this code. 1, 2, 3 is 6. When we try for another number, 5, 6, 1, it is 12. That is 5 plus 6 is 11 and 11 plus 1 is 12. We give 1001, it is 2. In Java, we are doing the same process, except that the println and using scanner plus we are getting the input, and using println we are printing the statements. Except other than that, everything is same. That is, we are in while loop, n is greater than 0, we are checking it and finding the remainder n mod 10. Sum is equal to sum plus remainder, and n is equal to n by 10. The same process we have done in C program also. So while condition is the same, just the Java syntaxes differs. So we'll run this code and we'll check. So it's 2, 2, 2, 2. It is 8. Okay. So sum of digits of 0 is 8 because I haven't used the temporary variable here. I have displayed the n value itself because in the last iteration n value will be equal to 0, that has been displayed. So here we'll replace it with temp value, and after getting the n value, int temp is equal to n. We have to store like this, and now if we run the code, it will be, so the number is displayed. So that's the reason we are storing it in a temporary variable.